Tabaco City, nestled in the shadow of Myon volcano. This was the jurisdiction of Juan Berces, a public officer with a clean 15-year record in the local government. On August 5, 2011, Berces hit his 15-year work anniversary. To celebrate, he and two colleagues stayed late, sharing a few drinks inside the city planning office around 8:30 p.m. This is the Supreme Court decision resulting from that night. From the parties involved, Tabaco City Mayor Cielo Crucel Logman Luistra treated the incident severely. She filed a formal charge and dismissed Berces from service, labeling his after-hours celebration as grave misconduct. Looking at the civil service rules in this document, grave misconduct requires specific elements. It means a public officer used their station for corruption or showed a willful intent to violate the law. Without those elements, drinking alcohol outside of designated hours is classified merely as simple misconduct, an offense that usually carries a temporary suspension. So a single night of celebration, which Berces admitted was a lapse in judgment driven by the emotion of his anniversary, was leveraged by the city government to erase his 15 years of public service. Berces appealed, and initially the Civil Service Commission agreed with him. Looking at decision number 130159, the CSC noted there was no corrupt motive. They downgraded his liability to simple misconduct and ordered a 6-month suspension instead of dismissal. Mayor Logman Luistra immediately filed a motion for reconsideration to reinstate the firing. Before the CSC could rule, the 2013 midterm elections occurred, and a new mayor, Maria Josefa Dimitriou, took office. Mayor Dimitriou reviewed the case, decided to drop the dispute, and officially withdrew the city's motion against Berces. But the CSC ignored the new mayor's withdrawal. Instead, they issued this document, Resolution number 1301575. They vacated their own previous ruling and affirmed the original dismissal, stripping Berces of his retirement benefits and permanently banning him from holding public office. The local government itself had formally dropped the issue, yet the administrative body tasked with overseeing civil servants pushed forward anyway, actively working to end his career. Desperate to save his livelihood, Berces filed a petition with the Court of Appeals. The court didn't evaluate the facts of his case. They dismissed it outright, stating he filed the wrong type of paperwork, a procedural error known as using the wrong mode of remedy. In the Supreme Court records, the section labeled Procedural Considerations lays out exactly what happened. The legal system has distinct lanes for appeals, and you cannot use a special civil action to substitute for a standard appeal if you miss a deadline. This page breaks down the difference. If you believe a lower court or agency made an error of judgment regarding facts or law, you file an ordinary appeal under Rule 43. You have a strict 15-day window to do this. Berces missed this window. Instead, his lawyer filed a petition for certiorari under Rule 65. Certiorari is a completely different mechanism. It is an original action used exclusively when an agency commits an error of jurisdiction, meaning they acted without the legal authority to do so in the first place. According to a strict reading of the rules, Berces was out of options. His government tenure was effectively over, not because the evidence proved he deserved to be fired, but because his legal counsel used the wrong procedural tool. When the case finally reached the Supreme Court, the justices looked past the filing labels. They examined whether the Civil Service Commission actually had the authority to issue that second, harsher ruling. The court pointed to a core legal concept detailed here, the immutability of judgments. Once the legal term limit to appeal a decision expires, that decision becomes final. It cannot be changed by anyone, even if it contains technical errors. Because the new mayor legally withdrew the motion for reconsideration, it was as if no appeal had ever been filed. That meant the CSC's first decision, the simple suspension, had already become final and immutable. By issuing a second resolution to fire Berces after the case was technically closed, the Civil Service Commission acted entirely outside its legal jurisdiction. That made their order completely void. Because the CSC's order was void, Berces' use of a Rule 65 petition for certiorari was actually justified. As the court noted here, there are specific exceptions where the wrong remedy can be accepted, such as when the broader interest of justice requires it, or when the writs issued are null and void. The Supreme Court has emphasized that rules of procedure are tools designed to facilitate the attainment of justice. Applying those rules so rigidly that they punish a litigant and uphold a legally void document defeats the purpose of the judicial system. In their final ruling, the court corrected the course. They officially declared the Civil Service Commission's second resolution void and reinstated the original decision. Berces would serve his 6-month suspension, but his career, his eligibility, and his retirement benefits were restored. Procedural rules maintain order and keep the courts functioning, but when strict adherence to the letter of the law threatens to destroy a person's livelihood over an administrative technicality, the system must remember its primary function is to serve justice.